All right, welcome back to Golf 215. I'm Anthony. He is Joe. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Doing good. With us, we have a course ambassador from Turtle Creek Golf Course, social media uh, director for Turtle Creek, friend of the pod. You know him on Instagram as Hafer Golfs. Shane Hafer. What's up, Hafer? What's going on?
Not much. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah, thanks
Absolutely.
for coming
Appreciate
through.
you coming on. So, you were telling us before we jumped on that about what you do with Turtle Creek. So, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit what you do and where people could find you at on it on social media.
So Turtle Creek is in Limerick, PA. I live 5 minutes down the road from it. It's an awesome link style course. I always think with public courses, as you get better with golf, there are some courses that just don't have distance. So they're short courses. And I love that Turtle Creek truly, their tips. It's a far course. You play from the blues, you play from the whites. Like it gives you tons of different options. And they take good care of it. And so it was my favorite course in the area. And one day I just, I played it probably 30, 40 times and I just reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I see you don't have an Instagram and I actually bored him with, I was like, I can give you all the stats, but like the golfers from 12 to 18 are growing at a 200% rate the last 10 years. The golfers from 18 to 30 are growing at 122% increase, 30 to 40. Like, I said, I can bore you with all the numbers, but content is growing in golf. And this course is, in my opinion, and I'm probably biased, but even before I was, their social media director, it's one of the best public courses, I think, in the area. Um, and I just said, I was like, I have background with some social media stuff. Could I run your social media account? And met with the owners. This is something new for them. And they took a chance on me. And I've been doing it now 7 weeks, so almost 2 months. And they're loving it. It's fun. It's light. They don't have strict expectations. So they're very fluid with, what content we're sharing. They like fun course photos and, all that. And yeah, and then, as far as my own account, so background on me, I golfed in high school. I've golfed my whole life. I've actually tried and kind of, I wouldn't even say failed. I just kind of gave up on golf content in the past. Life gets busy. Sometimes you don't have as much free time. And now I'm like, all right, so I have access to a course. It's a course I love. It's 4 minutes down the road, and I'm always on the course. So why not film some of my own stuff? And they're super supportive of that. Um, as you probably have seen on my Instagram, I do matches with a lot of people that play at that course. And it's just fun. And I've been loving it. It's a nice break from work. I'm in healthcare, so it's a nice getaway.
That's great. And I think you tapped into something that a lot of people haven't quite realized yet, too, right? So I know a lot of the courses that we play in the area, right? So some of these older local munis, have people that have been working there for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe not people that are internet, social media savvy. We've talked before about like how there's some courses that we really love that don't have like course flyovers or not even flyovers per se, but like good imagery of like a gallery of each hole, like all of this opportunity. So I think you really, cashed in and saw like an opportunity to reach out and say, hey, I feel like you have an opportunity here to really showcase what you have. We've heard of a couple other courses in the area that are starting to think
Uh,
along these same lines, right? So
yeah. And there's
what I would say
still,
to anyone listening out there is like, hey, do what Shane did. If you have a course nearby and you have the bandwidth and the capacity and the desire, um, give a cold call, give a shout out to one of your local courses, and maybe they need something similar. But what kind of advice would you give for someone thinking about jumping into this realm?
I have to admit, I think it taught me a little bit about, I mean, it never hurts to ask a question. Like, I, they could have easily said no. And what did I lose out of it? Nothing. Like, I tried. But it was funny because, as I started posting more golf stuff, you know, I get the comments and my friends reached out and like, are you quitting healthcare? Like, what do you like? Are you just doing golf full time? And I tell them this, and they're like, yo, there's like a course down the street that doesn't have an Instagram. Like, what did you say? And then the questions start coming of like, what did you say? And for me, I'm always, and it goes for if you interview for something or just in general, be honest. I didn't shy away from when I met with them. I told them exactly who I was. I told them roughly what I was planning on doing. And, I'm somebody who I like to be prepared. So I, had a proposal and I told them, I'm like, I'm not trying to say I'm going to, build you a 100,000 follower account, but my goal is to showcase what you are already doing, but it's just not out there. Um, and like I said, so far they've loved it. But as far as advice, I mean, just don't be afraid to take a chance. And it's the same thing with filming content.
Yep.
It, I'm still by far, I've only been posting active content every day or every other day for about 7 weeks. So I'm well early. And there's still parts of me that there's some videos that I'm like people are gonna think it's weird. People are gonna think it's odd that I'm posting this. But the feeling when one of the videos does well just makes you forget all about the thoughts of what are other people gonna think. And then when the video does well, and in my opinion, those people see that it did well, it's like, oh wow, like he's doing what he set out to do.
Yep.
Um, and
And
I
and
love
you
it. Yeah,
and you know what? You're right. There are going to be people that think it's weird, right?
yeah,
Um, we've talked about this. We've had a bunch of different creators and content creators in all kinds of different capacities on, right? Some large, some small. We're still very much growing, and we had the same feelings. Like, I was joking with Anthony. I was like, how many people are looking at this and be like, I've golfed with Joe. What the hell is he doing trying to run a golf podcast? Like, I know how
yep,
he shoots. But it doesn't matter because those
yeah,
people are going to think it's weird for 5 minutes and then they're going to forget about it. And the only one thinking about it is you.
yep.
So record, post often, and just,
And
learn from your mistakes.
how I remind myself that is as you're on social media, there's tons of people that are in my Instagram that I went to college with, high school with, that
Yeah.
post stuff, that are kind of doing what we're trying to do. They're not even a thought to me. Maybe for the millisecond that I see them, I'm like, oh, they're posting that.
Yep.
And off the top of my head, I couldn't even list those people of what they're setting out to post.
Nope. You remember for 5 minutes and then it goes away. Like, so and so's making sourdough bread videos now, and this
Oh,
person is showing me how to remodel,
yeah.
their garage, and this guy likes to.
And I have to admit though, what I will remember is if one of them makes it. Like if I look one day and I see that they have 100,000 followers and they're like there, then again, that's when you think, wow, this is cool that they finally made it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
No, it's good
And real
stuff.
quick,
And
while
and
we're sorry, Joe,
go for
sorry
it.
to cut you off. While we're talking about this, shout out Turtle Creek. They hosted our first event this year and our first event overall, and it was a ton of fun. Like you said, the course is in great shape. I've played that course. I typically get out there maybe 2 to 3 times a year over the past, I'll say 6 or 7 years. And no matter what the season is that I've played on that course, the conditions are fantastic all the time. I don't know what they're doing to the grass over there, but there's never a destroyed fairway. The tee boxes are never beat up. The greens are in great shape all the time. Even the first par three is that hole three,
yeah, short
where
par
it's a
three.
short par three,
Short
and they're
par.
getting tons of play on that par
Yep.
three. It's never beat up. Everything's always in great shape over there.
I
If
mean,
you
literally
haven't played it yet, go play it.
And
every night. So wherever the tee box was, they fill every single divot the next morning or that night or the next morning.
Wow.
And I mean, again, it is I always think, and we'll get into public courses because I think that's one of our topics, but like it is not a private club. The resources are not a private club, but as far as public courses go, it is pristine. Like you're not going to get a better public course. in my opinion.
It's definitely up there, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not a local muni,
no,
but it's not yet private, right? It's not on that level,
yeah,
but the conditions are great every time. And for the price,
yeah,
I don't know if you can beat it or in this area.
yeah.
And I don't know if you can speak to this at all, Shane, or if there's even an affiliation, but is that the little par three course that's out in front? Is that affiliated with Turtle Creek
So
or
it's owned by the same family. So Walt's family is who owns Turtle Creek, owns the par three, owns the mini golf, owns the ice cream shop, owns the driving range. They own it all. Uh,
nice?
I'm doing not a podcast, but an interview with the owner. She's amazing. She's the sweetest lady I've ever met. Like I walk in the clubhouse and she gives me a hug and sends me home. Like the one day I tell her this, like they got new sweatshirts in. And I was like, oh, like those are really nice. She's like, you're married. Take one home to your wife. And I'm like, yep, like you're awesome. But yeah, they own everything over there. Definitely two separate entities.
Sure.
So like there's kind of an ownership and a run business on the par three mini golf and ice cream and driving range. You do, if you go to Turtle Creek, you have access to the driving range. It's just geographically, it's a little bit of
Yeah.
a, it's kind of separate. Not many people use the driving range before they play Turtle Creek.
Yeah, I'll have to get the kids out. Like that might be one of the first places that I actually try to introduce them to anything beyond like a driving range.
Yeah,
Is that the little par three out there? Last
yeah,
time we played, we were pulling out, and I saw a family, and I think so. It was a husband and wife. They had two young kids, and they were pushing another kid in the stroller, like along the par three course. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, maybe this is kid friendly. Might need to look into this.
yeah. No, and they take so much pride in that par three. The bunkers are better than I'd say half the public courses I've played, and their greens are real greens. They're not like, you know, and it's perfect for kids growing up. And then at night in the summer, there's lights. Like I,
Oh, nice.
I jokingly, I don't have the schedule for it. If I did, I would hands down start like a men's league on a Tuesday night. It would take an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they're real greens. They are truly 50 to 100 yards. I think the furthest is 110. But I'm like, you know how much fun guys would have just getting together under the lights. You could do it from 8 to 9 and play around, even though it's chip and putt. I think it would be awesome.
Nice.
Sounds like an idea, Joe. We might have to jump on that.
Putting it in my back
If I
pocket.
had the schedule to do it and if I could clear one day a week, like hands down, I'd do it.
I didn't know that they had lights over there. I talk about that all the time, trying to find courses that we could play under the lights at night because I would totally shoot over there 8, 9 o'clock at night and play.
Oh yeah.
Well, we got one.
We do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So public courses, right? One of the things that you brought up to me was like the struggle to find reasonable tee times, right? And up until
Yeah.
we'll say 2020, 2021, I never had an issue finding a tee time. And to the point where I'm still kind of like in that mode because there are plenty of times where like I'll say to Joe like, "Oh, we'll just head over.
Yeah.
We'll get a tee time. We'll just head over." And he'll constantly remind me like, "Should we call? Should we call ahead of time?" I'm like, "No, there's going to be plenty of tee times." And I'm wrong right now, right?
Yep.
Because I'm just kind of used to that mode before 21.
Yep.
You could just literally walk onto any course at any time you want it, right? Maybe the mornings would be tied up a little bit, but like by 9:30, 10 o'clock, I mean, you could drive up to a golf course and they would send you out. There was plenty of time to send you out.
Well, I think it's funny you said call. Like I still call. Like Golf Now and online bookings that's what every course does. And there's always a fee, which is kind of what we're talking
Yeah,
about. It's the cost of public
sure.
golf, which I saw the Foreplay podcast just talked about this too. Like, is public golf courses ever going to get cheaper? And are they going to get absurdly priced at one point?
Yeah, I think it's probably like price fixing like anything else, right? So
Yeah.
once they reach a certain level, probably never really going to come down from that level, right? So I'd say the only thing that does do that a little bit is gas, right? So You'll hit $4, you come back down, but even that, like, it never makes it all the way back down to where it was. It's always like a little bit higher average, but could they come down a little bit? I mean, I think you'll maybe depending on the course, but I think we're honestly, like, I think there's a few courses we still play that are in the 60-ish dollar price range, but I think 60 to 75 is like the floor,
Yeah.
like these days.
Yep.
I don't know that you're going to get much else beyond, lower than that.
I
Um,
I always talk about the one public course that I felt 2 years ago. You could always find tee times with Jeffersonville. Like me and my buddy, I used to live in Phil, like in Center City, and we used to play Jeffersonville. We could probably show up and get on. And now, I mean, again, rightfully so, amazing golf course. They have made a ton of upgrades. But like, if you're a week out, you can't get a tee time before 11 a.m.
yeah,
Like,
and that's a weird thing too. So Anthony and I we're not shy about the really early tee time, but I can't tell you how many
oh,
times recently we've looked at a course and it's like they have 6:24 and then 11:47, and it's like, whoa, where's
yep,
everything else? Like, and this is you know not a week out, but maybe 5-6 days out.
yep,
And that's what you're looking at. Either there's one
yeah,
time slot left in the morning, 6:24, or you're playing in the afternoon.
And Jeffersonville's
well,
actually one that I have written down as my example, right? I didn't want to bring it up right away. And I talk about Jeffersonville with Joe maybe a little bit too much. I absolutely love that course.
oh, the
Um,
greens are so hard.
oh, right. But the course has come such a
It's
long way.
awesome. Yeah,
The first time I played it was back in like 2015-ish. And it's come such a long way since that time. But it's like on one hand, it sucks. We can't get a tea time anymore when, 5 days out, 7 days out. But on the other hand, it's like I'm super stoked because that course deserves to have all of those people
yeah,
going to it, playing it. They're making the money. You can see that they're taking that money and putting it right back into the golf course, which is what I love.
yeah,
I tell this to Joe all the time. I hate playing a golf course 4 or 5 years in a row. You spend this money to go play 75, $80 on the weekend and nothing has changed in
yep,
4 years. You don't see upgrades. You don't see, uh, you know, the sand getting, new sand getting put in, bunkers getting update.
yeah,
Nothing's getting done. And it's
yep,
like, why am I spending this money over and over again? At least do something. And with Jeffersonville, you can really see that coming. Jeffersonville, Turtle Creek's another one where you can see the work being done into the course. Fox Hollow,
Yeah.
yep,
another one. I'm sure there's
yep.
plenty more. There are a couple examples, but
Paxton Hall just redid their whole clubhouse, putting green. They're revamping their first hole. Like that's fun to see.
I haven't played Paxton Hollow in probably 6, 7 years, and I struggle every time they get a tee time.
I mean, the elevation changes is it's awesome though. It's a cool course.
So, I mean, the only bright side, right? So we're all in the Pennsylvania area, Philadelphia suburbs. As bad as it is, for us, I've heard so many horror stories out of like New York and LA where there's like not only can they not get them, there's a secondary market. It's like buying concert tickets,
Yep.
right? Like you're not getting them from, the website, you're getting them from a secondhand, someone's going in with, bots and scrapers to scrape up all the tee times and then they're reselling them at a markup. Um, I don't know how that is allowed and how, people are letting, courses are letting people get away with that, but I'm just glad that, knock on wood, we don't have to deal with anything like that right now. And I'm hoping to God that it never goes in that direction.
So the thing I always ask people is like, do you think there's ever going to be any more public golf courses being made? Like everybody's talking about Trout National. Cobb's Creek is a cool story. That'll be fun to cover once it actually opens. But I mean, with the money in real estate and land, are the public
If
courses we have in this area, is that it? Do you
if
think?
I had to predict, I would say if anything, we're going to see more public courses get purchased and turn private.
Yes.
Almost like, you know, housing, right?
Well, Reading,
Where they go and they scoop up a bunch of land and they build houses, or they tear down houses that have been there for 100 years and
yep,
build, larger houses. So I think we're more likely to see that because, now anyone who's maybe vying for land to put up a golf course, is losing out to the developers.
Yeah.
So I think what you're going to see is like you're going to see people that's like, hey, this local muni is currently charging 60, $70, for a round. We could get in there and buy all this land, redo the course, create a membership, collect 10, 15, 20,000 right off the rip from everybody that wants to join.
Yeah.
And I think the argument for that is looking around at the existing courses and looking at their waiting list. Like how long are the wait lists on some of these, country clubs? And if you were to secure land, put a nice enough course up in the area, you can kind of suck from all those waiting lists and launch a new club.
Yeah.
I do hope, though, I think we should all hope that there's at least one new public course coming to the area. The Bucks
That's what we're hoping.
the area. If there's any land out there, if you want to reach out to Mike Callahan at the Crossing GC on Instagram, shout out Mike.
Or reach out to us and we'll get you in touch with them.
Yeah, we'll get you in touch with them. But really hoping that course comes to fruition.
Yeah. Right by me, most people don't know it, but it's called Rolling Turf Golf Course. It is hidden in Schwanksville. It is surrounded by farmland. It is a 12-hole course. There are two par fours on it, and it's run by mom and pop. And again, it's got the land. And in my head, I'm like, again, where golf is going. I think some people are going to struggle, or not struggle. I don't think people would mind playing 12 holes for 2.5 hours and head back home to the family. Like, I think that would be more realistic. So I always think, like, imagine if that course, there was money that got put into it and just made a nice, and again, all the par threes are real par threes. They're 110 to 170. And then the two par fours are like 340. So, I mean, again, short. But that, I talked to the owner a couple of times now. I've nowhere close to any money to, get involved in it. But I'm like, that would be cool to get involved with, is a 12-hole course that has opportunity for upgrades and could make it a better public experience.
Yeah. And, I always hear the angles, right? Another benefit to that, if there's anyone out there who, is on a timeline where their wife knows that, they have 4.5, 5 hours, in a round. Hey, you could go play a round of golf, 12 holes, hang out on the 13th hole for a little bit longer. And
that'll be a first, the 13th hole. There you go.
Yeah, right. 13th hole took forever.
Yeah.
I heard this idea one time. I believe it was Zach Blair from the Bucks Club.
The Sixes?
What's that?
You going with the Sixes? God.
Something to that effect. Yep. So basically, like, the idea is clubhouse in the middle of the course.
Yeah.
And the course you kind of play out in like groups of threes. And you're always playing like out one hole, across, back with the third hole, right? So then you can play in groups of threes however you want. Right. Yeah. And with that, I mean, you could potentially even make like a 24 hole course and constantly be moving the 18 around to give holes a break and bring back a hole, bring some holes back to life. People could go out and play 9 holes, go play 12 holes, go play whatever they want, right? And however much time that you have to go and play.
To add to that, I just think there's something that's going to happen in the future that's going to change a style of how you can golf. Like TGL is a cool entertainment way of, showing how you can golf and entertainment. But like in King of Prussia, there's the Scramble House. That's like a gym membership, but for golf. Like that's a new innovative way to allow golfers access. And I think your typical, the only way you get access is an 18-hole round. I think in the future, there's going to be different ways that people are going to think of. I don't know exactly what they're going to be, but I can see people getting a little bit creative with it, maybe.
I'd like to volunteer that if anybody is going out to only play like 12 of their holes, that then I jump in and play the rest of their holes. And I'll just stay on the course all day because I'll play 36 holes all day. So
there you go.
If anyone wants to give those holes up, reach out, Golf 215. We're here for it.
Yeah. uh, you're just waiting at the 19th hole, waiting for
I'm
somebody
just
to.
waiting. Yeah. What did you?
It's too.
What holds you stop on? All right, I'll head out.
I tell you what, at Turtle Creek, there's a lot of guys that are probably over 65 that walk all 18. And oftentimes we're like, oh, it's getting hot out there. Like, you got to be careful. And there you are sitting at the bar just waiting for somebody that, you know what, I peeled off on 13. You're like, all right, I'll be on
I'm on
14.
my way.
How long
That's
ago
a
did you
actually, I
peel
didn't
off
even
on
think
13?
about walking. That's a great walking course.
I I just think you're going to show up to that threesome and be like, hey guys, I'm your fourth, like for the last 5 holes.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe had to head back to the 19th hole. He was tired. It's
Yeah.
hot out. I'm gonna pick up where he left off. What was he shooting? I'll just pick up his score
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, he delegated the rest to me.
That's
Awesome. We actually were talking on a podcast recently, and the question came up about Grant Horvat.
yep.
Okay. And about how he was not able to take the PGA denied him access to bring cameras behind the ropes
Yep.
for the Barracuda, I believe he was going to play in.
Yep.
Joe and I kind of differ on our opinions here.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
I respect that he grew his spotlight off content. And I think he did not want to give in to what the PGA Tour wanted, which, I mean, again, that brings the whole live tour and players leaving PGA. But like, I think it would, I think he just didn't get as much benefit as what we probably think. Like, oh, wow, that's cool. You're invited to a tour event. His goals are not to win a tour event, I don't think. I think his goals are to be the best content golf creator there is, which he's doing a good job of. So I respect that he didn't give in and just play. But on the flip side, there would have been tons of content around him and the publicity of him playing in the tour event. All eyes would have been on him, which would have, drove his content.
And I agree with that, right? And I think that's where the PGA needs to
Yes.
realize it's a two-way street, right? Like you're gaining eyes, you're gaining eyeballs because you have him out there.
Yep.
It gives him nothing unless he can also have, because let's be honest,
He's not gonna
you're not going to, if you introduce him on a PGA broadcast, right? Outside of the folks that are already watching him, like us, right? We're his demographic.
Yeah.
You're not going to pull our parents' generation from
They're
the
not gonna
broadcast and take them to him, right? So he's not going to gain. But conversely, you may pull more eyes that only watch the YouTube golf stuff and say, "Oh, let's." I don't usually watch, on a Saturday or Sunday, but let's tune in and see what Grant's doing.
Yeah.
Assuming he makes a cut. But yeah. So I think it should be a two-way street. The one thing I will say is, and I don't know who brought it to the surface. I think both sides would have been better to kind of keep it under wraps and like not put it all out there.
Yep.
That this is what happened. Like that would have been better off just being quiet and kept in the pocket. I have no idea who brought all that to light. Could be neither party, right?
Yeah.
It could be a third party that was just aware of it and kind of blew that whistle.
Yeah, I think from my take on this, I do feel like the PGA could have allowed some sort of camera work, right? Like in areas. But
Yeah.
I feel like they were tentative because once you open that box up,
Yep.
there's no going back. And they would not have any control over what is recorded and what is released. Like, look, Netflix is recording. Guaranteed the PGA has some sort of control or some sort of hand on what Netflix is going to show and publicize. They're probably not allowed everywhere with the camera, and whatever they are going to roll out the door, the PGA probably gets the check. With Grant, it would have been I'm bringing my own cameras in, and it's my own content, and I do feel like they were kind of scared about that.
So I
But they have
agree
given
with
him
you.
like,
Yep.
sorry,
I agree with you on that, right? But like PGA has lawyers specifically for that, right? They're going to have a legal team that sits with Netflix and says, here's our parameters, right, of what we will and won't allow to be aired, right? Maybe it says something like we have first right of refusal, or we reserve the right to review any footage and clear it or say no. They could have done the same thing with Grant, and I'm sure he probably would have been
So
amenable to it.
Yes and no, right? Because now you have this internet. Again, like I'm just talking like from the optics standpoint, I could see the PGA being tentative to want to give that type of
If
like,
if you wanted to live stream, right, then okay, I should see where
sure.
that would be problematic. But
Now you might
if you
want to
wanted to
talk
just
about it too.
record, if you want to record and bank a lot of content, there is the availability there for them to say, all right, well, we want to review everything before you put it out.
Then what happens when he starts talking about that? The PGA wanted to control this, and I just think that there was a lot of like they were scared. They were scared to give up control to somebody else.
And that tracks, right? And it tracks with what I think are the negatives of the current environment within the PGA. They're
And that's anything.
they want to dip their toe into kind of the new generation and the new like, but they're afraid.
But they're afraid.
yeah,
Absolutely. But I think that the thing where I think that the boat was missed, and I'm not knocking Grant at all. I get it, but I feel like he should have went and played because he could have then went back and talked about it on his through his content. He could have talked about what was going on. He could have maybe somebody could have walked on the outside of the rope and recorded him and
I
gotten
think
some
that's what he
content
was
without
asking
a
for, though, wasn't it?
microphone. And
Isn't that what he wanted? Someone on the outside of the rope?
also, do
no,
we
he wanted
know
somebody in the rope with him.
do we know the extent of what Grant wanted?
I think he
And
wanted
that's
somebody
Because
like
that
behind, like
on
in the rope, and he wanted to be mic'd up.
so and mic'd up starts messing with, I guess, where it's well, I guess mic'd up would be record but not live stream. I mean, again,
right.
I'd have to know what Grant wanted.
And I'm with you on that, right? Because
And
I'm operating with all the stuff that I just said. I'm operating under the assumption, because I did hear somewhere that like he didn't want like a whole production crew. I was of the understanding that he wanted one guy outside of the rope, but just kind of walking parallel with him mic'd up. I didn't think
Maybe
that was
I'm
very
wrong. I
intrusive.
took it as he wanted because something I read. They said, "What if you had him on the outside of the rope?" And it was like, "No, I wanted him walking with me
I think
and to be
he did
mic'd
say that.
up." Now, I think they did say he would have been okay if the person didn't walk with him. He had to walk behind him, right? Still walking with him. He just had to be behind him. He couldn't walk and be a part of the group
But
or
then
whatever.
see that, I mean, that's where, the culture of golf and PGA, you now have one golfer that has a film crew on a
Yeah,
PGA Tour event. Imagine being the other golfer with Grant. And like you said, you open the floodgates. But I think the PGA is probably, you would think, is talking right now. In the future, we're going to have to let these guys have some sort of spotlight,
Sure,
yeah.
it opens up
which
the
they already
door.
started. They already started a little bit, but
I'm
Now,
telling you
maybe
what they're gonna.
Netflix also has like the contract. Maybe
yeah,
there was something to do with that, right? Like
That's
yeah.
possible, and if that's but I
Netflix
feel
is
like
the
that would
only
have
one
come out.
allowed to do this, and we had to go through Netflix. And
That's a good point. I feel like that would have come out though, right? Like, hey, we can't because we have an exclusivity clause with Netflix. Um, I think what we're going to see in the not too distant future, I think the technology still has a little bit of way to go. But like the Meta glasses and the Google glasses and all that stuff, I think you're going to start seeing caddies wearing those for a guy like Bryson, right? Have Bryson's caddy wearing those, getting 18 holes or 72 holes of live content of him playing, right? Where
I'd
he
have
could
to
go,
I'd have
he
to
can go.
disagree with that. I don't think that that's
I
ever
don't think I think the PGA is
because
probably already
because
ahead
it's
of that.
electronics.
I don't think PG. I think that counts similar to what Grant's asking. I don't think the PGA would let that happen.
Even
Not
as
not only that,
unobtrusive as
like
it is,
what
though.
about from like not being and listen, I could be dead wrong, right? But like if you have something electronic that can see the distance to the pin, and they only allow that in one event right now. I maybe that's the event that they
I'm
let them
just
have
talking. These
this.
are just cameras, but I'm talking. So,
You know how much
and
you could hide? You know how
I get
much you
what
could
you're
hide in
saying,
those
Shane.
glasses?
But I get what you're saying, Shane, and like this is where I think the PGA is short sighted. This could be their content. This could be their version of like, uh, you know,
inside the ropes.
a red zone,
And
right, or whatever, right, where they have a subscription based model where like, hey, we have our broadcast, but if you want to, maybe it's a package deal where you can follow the top three golfers, or you can get access to everybody depending on your pricing plan or whatever.
See, I think that instead of like a caddy, I think that could be somebody that follows the group.
now let
Like
me
a
ask
group,
you,
They're following the group with the glasses on, like you're saying,
yeah.
right? Like
this is
they don't
different.
have any interactions with the golfers or the caddies, right? They're just walking behind, and you get to feel that experience of like walking the golf course with the golf. Now that would be pretty cool. You're
Yeah.
right. They could control something like that, but
Now, do you think this is a kind of on topic, but a little off? Do you think Augusta National is
No.
already thinking, well, no, no, I mean, do you think the checkpoint when you enter Augusta National, they're checking to see if you have meta glasses because they don't let
Oh,
cameras.
I would bet you they already are.
I
Yeah.
bet you they're already ahead of it and they're somehow, some way checking.
Yeah.
without a doubt. And I'll
Yeah.
be honest, I don't know how you guys feel, but like I'm okay with that. Augusta
Oh,
gets
yeah.
a pass.
Oh, Augusta gets all the passes.
I don't know if Joe agrees with that, but
Oh,
I I don't know because I'm more of a tradition guy, and I liked it the fact that there's like this private thing going on once a year is okay.
I'm okay with some of it. I think they overdo it in some areas, but
yeah. But they can, so it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah, they
Like
can.
they can do whatever the heck they want.
I
Yeah.
do like that they cater to fans though. I love
Yeah.
that fact. If I'll say if they didn't cater to the fan and they charged prices for food and beverage the way the PGA does, then I don't know if I would be so comfortable with the fact that they're that private and they keep
They
everything kind of behind closed doors.
they get a lot of goodwill points based on the amount of content they make available, through the app and stuff like that.
That's the
Like
best thing ever, and then you
it's
delete it
Oh,
4 days later.
it's crazy to me that every other major tournament hasn't
Yeah.
followed suit and done something similar where it's like, hey, if they can do it, we can, because that's not proprietary. They
Yeah.
can create their own app to provide you with the same level of content and people will
absolutely.
gobble it up.
Yeah. The tournament,
Every tour, you're absolutely right. Even all right, just every major bring that app out.
Yeah.
the
And this is what I'm
tournaments,
saying. So like going back to the meta glasses thing, this is a opportunity for the PGA to find an easy way to deliver that. It's not going to be your 4K, the same quality, but people will still tune in because like you're getting.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
not tuning in unless it's 4K. Forget it. For terrible
It will
idea.
be eventually, but
yeah.
All
anyway.
right, so
So how
speaking,
about all right? So that's at the more macro level, right? But
sure.
let's scale it back and talk a little bit about content for the
Yeah.
day, the
Yeah.
weekend warrior. Um, what are some of the things that you've learned, Shane, that you think is good? Like some of the pros about trying to get content while you play, and some of the cons, and then what are some of your favorite kind of like tools to use while you're out there?
My advice to people are it gets way easier to record and videotape shots and stuff the more you do it. I think I've got a lot of questions saying yeah, like again, the videos look cool, but they're like, what are you just carrying a camera around? Like, is it? And you find ways to be more efficient at doing it. Like, shout out to iRange is the common one that literally I have a pod that just sticks in the ground, magnetic, and I walk and I hit my shot. It's in my bag standing up, so like depending on how I park the cart, I can just put my phone and videotape it. Um, and also, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like the videos that I've spent so much time freaking editing and like they flop. And I'm like, I just spent way too much time. And then there are ones that I'm just like, oh, it's not perfect, but it's fun. Let it roll. And it does fine. Because the attention span of people on social media scrolling is short.
Yeah,
So like nobody's looking at your fine details. Like at least on my level. Like when we're talking company branding, you know, then you have a standard you have to hit. But like for your weekend warrior, that's just posting fun content. Like consistency is one. And then I by no means like I'm learning. Like I've been doing it 6, 7 weeks solid and seeing what does well. Like off the bat, my matches that I've done. So there's a shout out to Kate. She's a D1 golfer at Delaware. She grew up playing Turtle Creek. She averages -3 to even every round from the blues. And I played her in a match and like I'm getting 6,000, 10,000, 12,000 views. And her and I are just playing a hole at a time and seeing that people like that. Then I've done ones where it's just me putting with a cool background and the sun's rising and it doesn't do as well. And you just see what works and what doesn't. And then lastly, like there's random videos that just do really, really well. And there's videos that you think would do well and they don't. And that's where I've talked to a lot of people that have had like over 100 to 150,000 followers, and I ask them for advice. And this comes back to cold calling, like finding people who have done it, because clearly they had to start somewhere. And they're like, consistency. Like you're randomly going to get one that just hits, or you won't, but like, and then when it does, it kind of, I, I would assume opens new levels and new communication and network groups because people are like, oh, wow, like I really like that video. I like what you're doing. Let's try and do something. Um, but yeah, I mean, and it's just have fun with it. Like I love golf. I'm getting over the hump of like I just record stuff and if it flops, it flops. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I enjoy doing it. Like I would spend every day on the golf course if I could.
Yeah, the one thing
Yeah,
that you said there, it resonates with us, which is sometimes there's just no reason why one video or one podcast did better than the other. And we
Yeah.
have podcasts that are like 30 minutes long that
Yep.
do not do well as the hour and 15-minute podcast.
Yeah.
Like, and we would think like, well, it's 30 minutes, people get in and out. No one's sticking around for an hour and 15 minutes. Every time we roll one of those out the door. We hope that they do. We
Yeah.
love when they do, but like not people aren't doing that every time. Like we can understand that. But then all of a sudden we roll out the hour 15 and it's like 100 in the first 7 days, listeners right out the gate. And you're like, wow, like
Yeah.
the one with 30 minutes was like 20 some. What was the
Yeah.
difference there? No, nothing. Who
Yeah.
knows? Right.
Yeah.
and you know it's funny because there's a bunch of different concepts, right? Like for some reason, as you were talking, I was thinking about like in the beginning of the book, The Tipping Point. They're talking about Sesame Street, right? And how like they have the formula down to a science to how to like hold people's engagement and hold their attention, which is why they've been successful for so long. The other thing that I saw a video on along the same lines, right? But like more catering to this electronic digital generation is Cocomelon, right? If you and they did a study and like the amount of like changes in Cocomelon, like you're never seeing the same camera.
Yep.
Like it's a cartoon, right? So it's not a physical camera. But if it were a camera, it's a cut,
Yep.
cut. Every like 2 seconds, there's a cut
Yep.
to a different scene. I feel like on golf content, it's very similar. It's not as quick, right? But what are the
Yep.
two that pop up? I know for me, maybe it's just my algorithm. The two that pop up on my feed the most are the Twin Tour Golf, the Snicky brothers, right? Doing
Yeah.
their whether it's their mini golf, their bucket golf, or if they're out there, trying to break a certain score in a scramble. And then right now, Bino is popping up on my thing all the time.
Yeah.
He's trying to break par from each set of tees.
Yep.
All of those videos to me are like very fast.
Yep.
It's not a whole lot of talking and dialogue. It's a shot, cut, another shot, cut, and it's quick moving where your attention span is like it's not lost. Like you're not sitting there looking at the same shot. So I think there's something to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, so far, like when I do my shot tracer, which is actually a lot easier than people think, like that's the
Yeah.
other thing. In the beginning, you just got to ask questions, you got to research it. My editing and content quality over 7 weeks has changed drastically. But like I used to make sure and spend 30 minutes to make sure it perfectly, follow the ball.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They just want to see the first thing. And are you hitting it straight? Are you hitting it to the right? Are you hitting into the woods? And that's it.
As a matter of fact, as crazy as it sounds, you could potentially get more engagement if
Yeah.
your ball's clearly tailing off to the left and your shot tracer's going, because what's going to happen? You're going to have people that want to be I that's not where that
Well,
went, and then they make a comment, and all of a sudden you're getting more engagement and more people are seeing your video. So
so my one of the series I'm gonna trial, and again, it's just trial and error. Like, I'm a lefty golfer, and for the hell of it, I'm gonna say I'm gonna see if I can par all 18 holes lefty. Do you know how many people it's gonna trigger when they realize I'm a lefty
you're
golfer?
already lefty.
Like, but like I was talking to my brother-in-law who does social media content, and I'm like, I think it's gonna trigger people. They're like, what the heck? Like, this isn't impressive. You're
It,
lefty.
and what you should do is you should ignore all the questions,
Yeah.
and then if you do achieve it, you're like, all right, for this series, now I'm going to attempt to do it right-handed. And you
Yeah.
take one shot and you're like,
I'm done.
shit, I forgot I'm left-handed.
Yeah. But Thursday, I'm going to Turtle Creek and I'm going to film that. And I've learned series, like you said, people kind
Yeah.
of like that. They like to see, does he do it?
Yeah.
Does he do what they say they're going to do it? Or how does it end? Like the matches.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the lefty thing is going to be funny because I think the first
That
video,
I love that. I think
they're
that's
going to
going
be
to be
like,
awesome.
dude, this isn't impressive at all. And I'm just going to keep going every day.
People hate watch things too.
Yeah.
Because like the comments that you see on there, like people are like hate watching stuff, and it's like, hey, keep watching,
Yeah.
keep commenting.
No, but that was a idea I have, but I agree. I mean, I've, the good accounts, you can tell every couple seconds they have unique angles, ones that aren't like for me right now, I'm just filming myself, my full body swing.
Yeah.
Well, the really good accounts, there's always a random angle that it's just your upper torso swinging. You don't actually see the ball, and then it flips to where the ball goes. And
Yeah.
that's the every 2 seconds transitioning to something that keeps people entertained.
Now this is, I think, an important spot to throw out a caveat. Only do this if you have the resources to
Yes.
do it without slowing down the whole course, right?
I
Because I feel
pride
like
myself on that.
and I'm not. I know you do. I'm
I
not
know.
talking to you. I'm just in
Oh yeah.
general for anyone who's listening.
Yep.
Do not set up three different cameras on every shot and then like
Yep.
have to go run,
Yeah.
start and stop each one and then go collect. Don't do that
Yeah.
because everyone on the course is going to hate that. It's kind of like you said, Shane, and like when we haven't tried to get a whole lot of content recently. We probably need to get back to some of it, but Anthony has the iRange too, the iSport.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
we would use that. We toyed around with like trying to park the golf court, cart and having like a camera mounted to it and just say,
Yep.
hey, we're both going to be shooting from here. Let's just park right here and just have it rolling. So whatever, unobtrusive ways we could to just get a little bit of
Well, you
content.
should really do a podcast or this type talk and mount it on the cart. And
We,
I always think that isn't done that often, besides the people who are very high up on the content world.
yeah.
The conversations that happen in a golf cart are so relatable. And with that, I think comes viral content.
We've talked about that quite a bit. We've tried it once or twice. I think the only hurdle that we're still trying to overcome is getting the right audio. Um, Getting it to record consistently, having enough storage for it, and not having so much background noise where it's like unintelligible.
You're gonna have to get like the mics, the J or what's the most DJI. That's what I have again, I'm learning, so I bought a single one and like I need to because that would be so fun to just again mount your phone and film similar to a podcast. You can edit and cut clips
Yeah.
and like this podcast, you could create 30 days worth of videos if you wanted to. And imagine 18 holes on a golf cart and then have a couple of transfusions added to it. You got content for days.
Yeah, for sure.
But
So talk to us a little bit. You mentioned before we start recording that you have a drone that you use.
I
Talk to us
do.
a little bit about that because that's something also that we wanted to do. And we were kicking around like, all right, what kind of features do we want in a drone? Like what kind of capabilities do we want and what are we looking for?
Yeah, so actually I want to pronounce the name right because he has taught me everything I need to know about drones. Anthony Dorso, a Dorso photo. It's he taught me everything about drones. So DJI is the brand that is kind of the state of the art. I have a Mini 3. There's I think four, or maybe there's something Havoc. There's four or five of them, and it weighs the I think a beer can weighs more than it, to be honest.
Okay.
It's small, it withstands wind, and it goes, I think, up to 10 miles away.
Oh wow.
It's insane. Or I lie, sorry, not 10 miles. It's like 2.5 miles. That's 10 miles.
That's still a lot
But
further than well.
it's so clear. 4K video, 4K photo. It's super user friendly. There's a class that you could take to get certified. It has a geo map that looks to see what's in the area. Is it a safe area? Is it a high volume area? I mean, it is very user friendly. And I mean, they range from anywhere from 300 bucks for the cheapest to you know 600, 700, 1,000 bucks for like the really really nice ones. um but I love it. It's fun. Super pumped for like the fall. Like courses are going to look
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah.
um and again, I have three friends, which I'm sure we have similar followers, but they're all in the area that have drones, and I just started asking them questions like, which ones do you recommend? um and then, so where I think it's cool is, drones are something that I think people love seeing but don't own. They're still very new. And I was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna do this golf content thing, it would be cool to have that resource. And then with that, shout out to Reading Country Club. They just got purchased in June by somebody new, and they are upgrading to the nines. I know their team. I'll have to introduce you to them. They're awesome. But they had me come over for the day, and I shot tons of drone photos. I filmed content for them. They, said, "Hey, play 18 holes and check out the course and all the upgrades we made." And also, again, I've grown up playing Running Country Club. They've made a ton of upgrades. Like their greens were awesome, and their fairways were great. They built a whole new, or they reopened a whole new restaurant. They have 3 simulation bays. Like they put some money and effort into this. Um, but the drone is just a cool tool that I have that, not everybody else has. Um, and yeah, there's a cost to it, but I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's cool to just also look at courses
And
from that view.
what kind of battery life do you get on it? Are you able to get a whole round in with it, or do you have to swap out batteries? Or
So realistically, you'd have to have enough manpower to like film your rounds. I have a couple where, like, again, Turtle Creek, I would go there at 8 a.m. and the back nine is empty. So I have filmed me playing a par three with the drone because nobody's won the course yet.
right?
But the battery life, so the DJI 3, each battery lasts about 24 minutes. And I bought the one that has three batteries to it. So you would have to return it home, but you could swap out the batteries, and you get about an hour, which I have never needed all three. Like I'm not flying my drone for an hour straight.
Sure.
Um, but I mean, again, the capabilities of these drones is so cool. You hit liftoff, it lifts off to 6 feet and just hovers. And it says, all right, home location identified. You fly it out 2 miles out and you hit return home. It just flies back, lands in the same exact spot.
That's awesome.
Uh, but my fun story is literally the first time I flew it, Turtle Creek, sent it up in the clubhouse, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like I just started whipping it. There's a sport mode that goes twice as fast, and I start going to the back of the course. And I've read all the manuals, and all of a sudden it says losing signal, and I thought in the manual it says like it gave you a good enough warning that when it loses it, like you can stop it and come closer. And literally, I'm over hole three, that water on the
Oh
left,
no. Oh,
and it says losing signal. It will land when it loses signal. It just drops. And I'm like, I swear to God, my first day flying this thing, I'm over water and it's dropping. So I like ran to the first tee box from the clubhouse closer and it came back in signal and I brought it right back. I'm like, all right, having a little bit too much fun.
Oh man,
And
yeah, that
like
wouldn't have been
that, my wife would have killed me.
good.
So I lost the drone already, day one. Yeah.
Shane, we want to be cognizant of your time. Really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Definitely have
Yeah.
to do this again in the future.
Yeah.
Um, just have two questions. All right,
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you one, then Joe's gonna close it out like we always do.
Yeah.
But we've been talking a lot about this, and over the next week, we'll probably get some solid answers to this. So
Oh yeah, I know where
Ryder
you're
Cup's
going.
coming up. All right, the
All
first
right.
six are locked in.
Yeah.
So Captain Keegan is looking at his picks right now. Numbers 7 through 12 are Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa,
Yep.
Ben Griffin,
Yep.
Mav McNeely, Keegan Bradley, Brian Harmon. Who is one person not in the next in that 7 through 12 spot that Captain Keegan should consider?
That's not in that 7 and
That's
12.
not in 7 through 12. Somebody outside of somebody that's maybe playing well, but is not in that 7 through 12 that should be
You,
considered.
you
Can
want
you
to rattle
remind me
off the
who's the
locks real
top,
quick?
who's in the top
Yeah.
six? Because I was gonna, my
Oh,
first name
who's
that came
locked? Oh,
so first name that came
sorry.
to mind was Sam Burns, but
Okay, so locked is Scheffler, Spawn, Shoffley, Henley, English, DeChambeau.
again, I don't know statistics, but Sam Burns, I feel like has played well and has been up there. That's the first name that comes to mind.
That's a good one.
Uh,
He's sitting at 16, so he's not
yeah,
that far out, and he's definitely somebody that should be looked at. I agree.
and I'd have to look at how he finished the season versus started, but I don't know. I feel like he also got screwed at was it the Open or the U.S. Open with the water and
With the
he has
water, yeah,
didn't get relief. I mean,
that was a tough one to watch.
yeah, and then of course, like after he hit a bad shot, it was like I was gonna say I'm impressed with Harmon, and he's 12, but he's sneaky. He like you know wins, and then nobody really talks about it. Uh, honestly, I can't think off the top of my head. Put me on the spot.
No, Sam's a good one.
So
That's a
yeah,
good
Yeah,
so
I
one.
mean,
so
Sam is the
13,
first.
13 through 20. Novak, Cam Young, Cantlay, Burns, Wyndham, Lucas Glover, Akshay, Chris Gotterup.
Cam
That's
Young
your
would be probably my other. I don't know. I always think with Ryder Cup, you have to have some sort of like I don't know
fireball.
fire to you. You need to have
Yeah.
some edge. Like you can't be the quiet golfer that just places top 10. And that's why I mean I'd be shocked, but like Justin Thomas is you know the perfect guy to add to that team. Like he's already 7, so he probably will. But
Yeah.
like yeah, I would say Sam Birds and Cam Young would be my two.
Good choices.
Solid.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, bring us home.
All right, sir. I think we gave you a warning, a heads up. So we ask everybody who comes on as a guest, give us a give us an album you can listen to start to finish, no skips. We'll add that to our Golf 215 guest playlist.
All right. You might be asking how old are you guys?
Do you
How
so
dare you ask our age
yeah.
on this
So I'm
pod?
40
No,
I'm
Well, I'm
46.
I'm 33, so
So
I'm
you would be
43.
surprised how vast our musical range goes, right? Like I listen to stuff that my dad listens to and I listen to stuff that my kids listen to. So and everywhere in between. So but yeah, I'm
so
46.
I'm 43.
so I like country music. Um, big country guy, and I think Florida Georgia Line's first album, Here's to the Good Times. I think every song on there is awesome. And what stands out to me about them is, again, time and place of when the album came out. So I was a junior in college. I liked watching them before they even, again, Spotify really wasn't a thing. They posted all their songs on YouTube. So to play them, you have to watch them on YouTube. and that was their first album, and they, hit it big. But literally, I have that saved on my Spotify account, and looking back, every song they have is, you know, solid. Um, so as far as that, I pick that one. And then if not, again, I like country music. Any Kenny Chesney album, I'm a big Kenny
Mhm.
Chesney guy. I've gone to see him play 6 times, I think. Like,
Can't miss vibes on that one
the tailgate is a vibe itself,
for
and Philly
sure.
and the link. Yeah.
But no, you're spot on, right? And I think that's what triggers, you know, music for me and takes it to the next level, right? Like any album that I tell you I love or type, music that I tell you I love, I can pinpoint to a certain
Where
time and
you're at.
place. You know what I mean? Like, and anything besides that, like, oh yeah, I like that, but doesn't really have that same meaning, right? So
Yeah.
like, it's funny because I always know what songs came out in the 94 to 97 range when I was in high school, and what songs came out in the 98 to 2001 range when I was in college, or those first few years after when I was down the shore. I'm like, all right,
Yep.
I can
Yeah.
put myself, either in college or in high school or at the shore, and like give you a pretty close assessment as to what year that album came out.
I
But yeah,
would say,
man, I love that. That's good stuff.
yeah, it's more the memories around it. I remember literally the only way I could listen to it was finding them on YouTube, and then when they became popular, it was easier. But
Sweet.
Awesome.
Well, listen, you're not too far from us, so
yeah, we'll have
we should
to
get out
play
and try to
around.
play at some point.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll message you guys and we'll link up at some point.
That'd
Let's
be
do it.
great.
Shane,
Well, thanks
thanks
for
again for
having me.
coming on.
Yeah, have a good night,
Appreciate
guys.
the time.
All right, bud. You too.
All right, later.
Take it easy.